episode of Brett's Play is brought to you by drugs.
And gratuitous violence.
Right. Well, Gun.Smoke is a game entirely about shooting everything that moves.
I think the only reason I got this game when I was a kid is my dad was a huge Gun.Smoke fan. He always watched a lot of westerns.
I was gonna ask if it has anything to do with like the show.
Yeah.
Is this licensed, or is this one of those like it's not actually licensed, but it's playing off the license?
It's licensed. If you look at the cover of the game, not the sticker cover of the game,
but like the box art.
The box art has images from the characters on the show. But like many things, such as the Back to the Future game, it really has nothing to do with the show.
Well, is it kind of like the Sega Saturn Die Hard game that was really just Dynamite Deca in Japan, and they were like, ooh, if we put John McClane on this, we'll sell games.
I'm not sure. I never played that version of it.
Awesome.
I played the PS1 version of Die Hard, the trilogy that had all three of them in there. Yeah, it was terrible. Anyway, absolutely horrible.
I'm Brett, and this is Murphy.
Hi.
And welcome to Gun.Smoke. There's a period in there.
Yeah. The grammar in the intro to this game is just absolutely horrid.
I wasn't reading it. I was busy speaking. But I picked this up at Supergator the other day for like $9, which is more than I usually ever pay for a video game.
That's more than I thought this game would be worth, honestly.
Yeah, it was somewhat difficult to find because I've been over how much I love the Grumps, whatever, but I watched the Grumps play it and it looked really fun. And it's a lot like 1942 or shit. That was awful. Okay, I'll make it clear. But anyway, it's like a lot like 1942 or 1943, except you like are walking. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I thought it was an interesting design, so I picked it up. Spent a little more on it than I usually spend on video games, which these days is not very much.
Yeah, the video game budget has certainly gone downhill since I became an adult.
What's adulthood?
It's that horrible thing that happens after your parents stop paying for everything.
I'd like that to happen to me again. It's a double-edged sword, though, you know.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring the NES Advantage to play this with because it's more conducive to the ridiculous kind of button mashing that you have to do.
Yeah.
Right, I know, whatever. I don't have enough money for your stuff yet, but I think you can just find the wanted poster in this first level.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to buy it.
Should get Ramon over here to play this game, dude.
Is he good at it?
I don't know if he's good at this game or not, but that man has a crack finger. Like, it just goes 100 miles an hour. You should see him play Mega Man. It's ridiculous.
I hate Mega Man. It's so hard.
That's why you hate it. Me and Ramon have come to the conclusion that if you hate Mega Man, you probably think it's hard, and that's why you don't enjoy it.
You're exactly right. Like, I think that the music in it is fantastic. The graphics are great. I like Mega Man for what it is, but I don't enjoy playing it because it's impossibly difficult for me personally. What
about that TV show, though? Now I have your power.
Pharaoh Man is awesome. Everybody look up Pharaoh Man is awesome. That video's like, now I got your power. BAM! I didn't grow up watching it or anything, though.
This is quite a long western town. It seems like he's walking for just ever.
It loops if I'm... Oh, crap. That was the dynamite. This was awful. I'm switching controllers.
Yeah, because that's always the problem.
This is, it's this crappy controller.
I died. Oh, my God. It's the controller's fault. Rage quit.
Don't you... I was doing so well last night. I got all the way to Cutter Boomerang, and it was like the first time I ever played the game.
We always do so much better at video games when no one's around. It's like the legendary fisherman story. It was that big, I swear to God.
Well, that I'm speaking. Like, I'm still getting used to this whole Let's Play thing. Just start over from the beginning because it was on the first level. And give it another try.
Like you have a choice with older systems. We didn't have the luxury of memory cards back then.
What was it? It was some comedian who was like, if you lose to Super Macho Man, you go right back down to Piston Honda. Another game that I've never beaten, but neither have most people.
What, Super Punch Out?
Just Punch Out.
Man.
I always die on Bald Bull. I can never time the Bald Bull rush correctly.
The great thing about Punch-Out and some of the other Nintendo games before they did the ability to save was that they would give you codes in Punch-Out, and if you wrote the codes down, then you could go right back and you wouldn't have to start at the beginning, but you'd have to do that whole tedious entering the codes with the D-pad.
You know what was the worst is I actually brought it just in case we wanted to play. It was River City Ransom.
Oh, yes.
The passwords in that game were like, you have to write your favorite 3 chapters of the Bible, and you can pick up where you left off. Except those 3 chapters of the Bible were recommended by 3/8.
You know, I kind of wish they had done the Punisher game for NES like this.
Are you talking about the one that was kind of like the Terminator arcade game?
Yeah, it was kind of like a rail shooter, but you had to use the D-pad to move around, and it really wasn't enjoyable because you die so damn quick.
Yeah.
Because you can't get the cursor over the enemies quick enough, and you can't pick up the items.
Absolutely the same thing about T2, the arcade game, and I actually have the Super Scope for that on Super Nintendo, and I did play it with the Menacer back when I had it for Genesis. But first of all, the Menacer is a piece of crap, and secondly, that game is a piece of crap. That level where it's like protect John Connor's truck from the entire Earth that seems to be imploding upon it. All you have is this gun, ready, go.
Oh man, does this game at all remind you of what was it, Wolf?
Operation Wolf?
Yeah, Operation Wolf, except in Western.
Well, this game doesn't, but all the other games we were just talking about do. I already lost my horse. There's a wanted poster, I already got it. I'm gonna get to Violent Bill.
Violent Bill, he sounds like a good guy.
Like the Violent Femmes.
It's a good band.
I only know the one song. I actually remember being in Italy, and just like the whole time I was in Italy, my brother and I had blister in the sun. God damn it! Blister in the sun stuck in our heads. I'm gonna beat this first boss. We'll call it an episode after I beat the first boss. I don't know how much. That was not an efficient use of POW. Maybe it was.
Hail to the king, baby.
And Bruce Campbell is on this episode of Brett's Play, everybody.
Yeah.
That'd be something. I met him. He was awesome.
I've never met Bruce Campbell before. I've met several others. I think recently I met Doug Bradley, Pinhead.
Was that at Days of the Dead?
Yeah, it was.
Was he the guy you drank with?
No, I didn't drink with Doug Bradley. I drank with I can't even remember the name. It's so embarrassing. Tony Todd.
Candyman.
Tony Todd, Candyman. He was yes.
Have another drink of beer.
Yeah, he was really cool. He'd been missing for nearly the entire first day that we went. Every time I walked by his booth, I was hoping to see him, and then later on.
Sorry, man. I seen you've been walking by. You want to get a beer?
Well, no, later on, we're sitting at the bar upstairs, and Tony Todd's just sitting there, and I walked up to him and I said hey to him, you know, asked if we wanted a couple of drinks or to drink with him.
Yeah.
And we just sat there and had a small conversation. It was really neat.
One of my biggest regrets in life is not asking if like Reggie Watts wanted to go get some Waffle House or something after we went to his show. So Reggie Watts is a down-to-earth guy. He's not like hyper famous. I think he would have gone.
Yeah.
Plus he smokes a lot of weed, so he was probably hungry.
Ari Lehman drank with us at it used to be the Purple Possum. Now it's Jekyll and Hyde's here in Noonan.
Who's
Ari Lehman was the first person to ever play Jason Voorhees in the first film. He played Jason as a child.
What was he doing in Noonan?
The first Days of the Dead was hosted in Peachtree City.
Oh yeah, that was like 2-3 years ago. I remember that because I was working at the music store.
And he said that he had heard from some people that Jekyll and Hyde's was a good bar. I don't know who he spoke to, but they're morons.
Yeah, this friggin' incorrect. It's a bad bar.
And so we went up there, and he was pretty much hanging out. And like you said, Reggie Watts, he's a real down-to-earth guy, and he's really easy to talk to. Very cool guy.
Very first Friday the 13th, when he like popped out of the lake.
Yeah.
It's a serious role.
Oh well, it's a small role, no lines whatsoever, but it's extremely iconic, and even people, even Kane Hodder's just like, hey, you're Ari Lehman, you're the first person to ever play Jason Voorhees. That's saying something, even in such a young role.
Did he go on to do anything else?
Yeah, he has a band, and they're called First Jason, and they sing about Jason Voorhees.
Reminds me very much of Austrian Death Machine.
That band, oh my God, it's amazing. Everything is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Everybody go look up I Need Your Clothes, Your Boots, Your Motorcycle.
And Get to the Chopper. Great song. Watch the videos.
Okay, so now on the next episode of Brett's Play, maybe I'll meet Cutter Boomerang.